saying anything is possible. All things are possible. It gave me the opportunity to be clear that I didn't have to take just one part of myself or another part of myself. I could show up fully and authentically as myself and say, wow, there's room for all of that and all of me in this business.
Roz went back to Pittsburgh and started working while she got her career as a singer off the ground. But then, life happened. She got married, started a family. She and her husband had 2 children, one with special needs.
He had his first seizure when he was 8 months old. And you can't even imagine something that little shaking that hard. That was a turning point for me because I had to make the decision to let my career go for my son's health and well-being. I chose to support my then husband's career, and so I moved clear across the country away from family. I've got this baby who's having seizures and being transported by the paramedics every couple of days. And so I knew that I still had to find a way to feed my soul as an artist.
Roz continued to feed her soul through music. But realizing she could never have the international classical career she'd always dreamt of, she decided to do something even bigger. Concerned about the lack of performing opportunities for artists of color in the classical arts, Roz took action. She had always been inspired by Arthur Mitchell, the first African-American dancer with the New York City Ballet, and founder of the Dance Theater of Harlem, the first African-American classical ballet company.
Growing up, like I said, I wanted to be the dancers. One of my cousins got the gene. And so she was the original Firebird for Dance Theater of Harlem. So I had the pleasure and the honor of watching Arthur Mitchell make this amazing company and give little Black girls and boys an opportunity to do an art form that they had been told, your body's not right for it. You can't do this. So I was like, well, if Mr. Mitchell can do that for dancers, maybe I can do it for singers. So I made the choice to start giving. I knew I couldn't have that career, but I wanted to give every artist of color that opportunity to live their dreams.
So Roz founded Opera Noir, a nonprofit that promotes cultural diversity in the classical arts and provides educational outreach, as well as development opportunities, to school-aged children and emerging artists. She's committed to presenting classical music from an ethnocentric perspective.
So when you talk about an ethnocentric approach to the arts or ethnomusicology, it's letting your history and who you are, where you come from, inform how you approach the arts.
But more than anything, Roz realizes the role of music in helping people heal and connect, regardless of race or ethnicity.
What I really believe is that the arts heal and that we're going to create hope and healing through the arts because there's a common bond. I don't care what nationality you are, what faith you are, where you come from. Music is an integral part of life. I think if we can come together on what's common, what we can agree on, how we can celebrate one another, how we can take the time and say, oh my gosh, I see you. That song makes me cry too. Especially when you're singing classical music, where people are like, I don't know what you said, but I felt it. I think one of the most rewarding things about this journey with Opera Noir is we do a lot of work in underserved communities. So we do free dress rehearsals and free performances. You know, we partner with boys and girls clubs and kids who would never see classical artists or know what that is. And so just having their jaws drop and them looking at you with these beautiful wide eyes saying, how do you make your voice do that? You would think that in this hip hop era, kids would not be open to it, but they are. And we actually created a program called From Hiding to Hip Hop.
Many of the children that Roz works with have had a history of behavioral issues and use music as a way to express themselves in a productive way.
There was one young woman, she had a lot of behavioral issues, and they warned me about her ahead of time and whatever. And it was just a safe place for her because she had had a horrible history. So there was a reason for her acting out. One day, we let her sing, and she opened her mouth, and it was like, oh, like you never knew that this child, you know, who everybody else is like, she'll tantrum and she'll da-da-da-da, and she just opened her mouth and just beauty came out of it. Just absolute beauty. And it was just one of the most touching moments of my career.
As you can probably tell, Roz is the type of person that will light up a room And not just because she's charismatic and talented. She's just someone you can feel. She radiates warmth and joy. But at the end of the day, the way Roz shows up in the world, to her family, to the kids that she works with, and to her loved ones, is a conscious decision that she makes every day.
I think joy at the end of the day is a choice. For me, like my theme and the way that I show up in the world is joy and vibrancy and purpose. You have a choice of whether or not you tell that really sad story. Like my story could be like really, really sad, but I chose to find the joy. And then I choose to bring the joy so that when I show up in a room, the atmosphere should change. And so I think that that's what joy is. Joy is a choice that you make to live the highest version of yourself and then give the best that you can to mankind.
The Tony Robbins podcast is directed by Tony Robbins and produced by the Tony Robbins editorial team, with audio editing and sound design by Jeremy Enns. Today's first guests were Danny Modisette-Klein, the founder of Laughter on Call, and Michael Piper Uni. To learn more about the work they're doing with Alzheimer's and dementia patients, visit www.laughteroncall.com. Our second guest was Roz Clark, the founder of Opera Noir, a nonprofit with a mission of promoting cultural diversity in the classical arts. To learn more, visit www.operanoir.org. That's www.operanoir.org. Copyright Robbins Research International.